Hi, and welcome everybody to the Ayurveda experience. Today, after a very, very long time, we have finally come up live on video to talk to somebody very special, somebody who's been associated with the Ayurveda experience for quite some time now, has done some great courses with us, and has received a lot of appreciation from some of the greatest names in Ayurveda. Who do you think I'm talking about? Any guesses? Well, before I give an introduction, I would like him to give you a brief introduction about himself. Welcome, Dr. Suhas.
Thank you. Thank you, Venu. And I am Dr. Suhas Sagar. I'm so happy to be here on the platform of Ayurveda Experience. And I greatly appreciate and admire your commitment and integrity towards Vedic sciences. I'm a classically trained Ayurvedic physician. I did my bachelor's of Ayurvedic medicine and surgery from the prestigious Pune University, where I received my gold medal for my MD, which is an Ayurvedic MD degree, which is post residency. And I traveled thereafter all around the globe talking about Ayurveda, starting Ayurvedic clinics, designing curriculum, starting schools, teaching courses, and working with some of the very eminent people in the country. So currently, for last 25 years, I've been practicing in the United States with an integrative wellness approach, understanding Ayurveda and blending it for the modern Western lifestyle. So I'm so happy to be with all of you, and it's absolutely a pleasure and joy
Well,
to talk Ayurveda to the Ayurveda people.
it's absolutely an honor for us. And you were, cutting up a little bit in between. So for anyone who missed that, I want to just quickly recap Dr. Suhas's fantastic background. He's a classically trained Ayurvedic physician and a gold medalist from a very prestigious university called Pune University in India. He is an excellent clinician who has probably treated more than 15,000 clients successfully throughout his career. He has also been lead faculty at several reputed Ayurvedic institutions worldwide. He's also a lead formulator for several product brands. He's a research consultant for numerous Ayurvedic nutraceutical companies. He is also a motivational speaker and has shared the stage with many reputed names. So that was a little recap of Dr. Suhas. But why are we talking today and what do we want to talk about? There's a special reason why we are here today. And the reason is there's a new book titled Change Your Schedule, Change Your Life: How to Harness the Power of Clock Genes to Lose Weight, Optimize Your Workout, and finally get a good night's sleep. And that book has been authored by Dr. Suhas and is set to release very soon. Dr. Suhas, what is this book all about?
Well, the book came out yesterday, and I'm so happy to be talking to you about this book. Currently, the book is doing very well on Amazon. It's listed as number one seller on in the Ayurvedic medicine, number one seller in the sleep categories.
Dr.
So I
Suhas,
think
you got cut out a lot in the beginning, so let's start with the question again.
can you put my
What is
microphone? Shall I do that? Microphone? Will that be better?
maybe that could help? It seems like a little bit of a delay, but let's see if that helps.
Because you are also getting frozen sometimes when you're talking. So what I'm
Oh,
that you are getting really
it's okay. Maybe you want to get headphones to see if it helps.
yeah.
Sorry.
No worries, no worries.
We'll cut out these parts, so it's not a problem.
Yeah. Okay, how about now? Is it better? Hello? Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah,
Perfect.
yeah.
Okay, so I'm ready whenever you are.
There's a slight delay there for some.
Yeah, it is delay and you're
There's a
frozen.
slight delay.
You're completely frozen.
How's your connection? It's
Your picture doesn't
strong,
move at
smooth.
all. Hello?
Hello.
You want me to send you a Zoom invitation? I can download.
I think it's an internet. It's not the Zoo Hangout thing because it's mostly it's an internet connection thing going. It was very smooth in the beginning, and then it just let me see what I can do. Let me try another alternate connection, see if that helps.
Hmm? You're frozen completely now.
Hello.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's try now. Let's start. Let's start with the
Okay.
question. So, what is this book all about?
Well, the book is all about changing your schedule and changing your life. So, what I was seeing lately in my clinical practice was I see so many people who were running around all day long and they were tired, they were exhausted, they were working late nights. They used to start their day with looking at their cell phones, they were ending their day looking at their cell phones. The boundaries of working from 9 to 5 are becoming more and more invisible. You are kind of on call and working all the time, even on the weekends, many times. You don't have proper time to sit down and eat your meals. You don't go to bed at a proper time. So, what I started noticing that many of these people who were getting more and more disconnected with the proper understanding what you should be doing when is one of the main reason what it was creating what we call it as circadian disruption. So there's a timing that the body needs to go through to carry out various functions, including sleep, digestion, immune system function, cholesterol synthesis, variety of different functions. There are millions and millions of activities that the body carries through. And when our schedule takes over what the body's schedule is trying to do, that's where the disruption happens. And I see quite a few people who are having such a busy life. And that is exactly what is shifting and changing how their body is behaving at a biochemical level, at a neurochemical level, especially with the advent of social media sometime that you are exposed to your hormones are kind of constantly going up and down like a roller coaster with someone saying something good about you, someone saying something bad about you, good text, bad text. It is something that you have to immediately respond to something. And even that little message, something good, bad, is kind of stirring you up emotionally inside out. And when you oscillate with this thing throughout the day, imagine you got a text before you go to bed, something stressful going to happen, and you have to troubleshoot and put off the fire tomorrow, then your sleep is going to be affected. You wake up in the morning and is the peak time when the cortisol release is happening, and you get some stressful message from the work that you have to be on call in next 10 minutes, and you're rushing and your blood pressure is peaking up that time because of that message. It is taking it even to a nastier level. The platelets are pretty sticky at that time. So what happens is, if we don't find the right kind of buffer what we should be doing, and these schedules take over our health, very soon we are landing up with diseases which are simply lifestyle diseases. And Ayurveda is one of the perfect templates to not only prevent lifestyle diseases, but even reverse the onslaught of these chronic diseases. You won't believe about 80 to 90% of the top chronic fatal diseases are lifestyle diseases. And these diseases are non communicable. It's not that it's an epidemic where you have some terrible bacteria or virus to blame to. These are all coming from poor lifestyle. People have forgotten the right times to eat. People have forgotten when they should be going to bed. What are the preparations that they should be doing from dawn to dusk? And when I look back with some of the advent of the modern lifestyle and compare that with my Ayurvedic background and training, I clearly understand that there's a value of daily routine, there's a value of seasonal routine, there's a value of nocturnal routine that Ayurveda has been talking about for thousands and thousands of years. So, those principles of ideal daily routine in the light of what busy schedules are doing to people is one of the main premise of writing this book. Change your schedule, change your life.
So, is that what you saw in your practice? Is that what made you write it? Were maximum problems happening simply because of a bad schedule?
Well, I see so many people that people wake up in the morning after 7, 8, 9 hours. They get into their cars, they drive for an hour or two to get to work. They slump into their cubicles for 7, 8, 9 hours, mostly sit and do nothing, mostly with their bodies, just mental work. And then again, brave through the evening, crazy traffic, come back and do it again, some passive entertainment for an hour or two, have the biggest meal of of the day in the evening, and then sleep on top of that for 7, 8, 9 hours. So when we see people that slowly this is becoming, but what the interesting part is that the science of chronobiology, which is emerging, it is a new science. The 2017 Nobel Prize went to these three American physiologists, which discovered the activity of clock genes. And as we are talking about, it was earlier, we were thinking that there's some area in your brain which is precisely called a suprachiasmatic nucleus, which is in your hypothalamus, right behind the optic nerve. And it is a very tiny little area. It's almost the size of a rice grain, the grain of rice, and it contains 20,000 neurons. And the main function of this is to sense the light. As soon as the light falls on your eyes, it knows that this is daytime and the body needs to carry out certain function. It sends messages. It's like the Big Ben starts tolling everywhere in the body, and then the little clocks in the body starts responding to that. That's how the old school of thought was. But with the recent invention and the discovery of the clock genes, as we say, it gives us an idea that every cell, every gene in the body has its own timer. So these timers are deeply embedded in our genes. They sense everything what is going on, and they sense everything when they are supposed to carry out certain function. If we are syncing our activities with those, then they are effectively carrying those things out. If you're not doing the right activity at that time, then it gets thrown off. And those unhealthy genetic activities get turned on, which leads to imbalances first and then lead to chronic diseases. So we are talking about a poor lifestyle affecting us at an epigenetic level and slowly reaching to the core DNA of your body, in which the body is just a matter of ticking time bomb when it's going to explode and create a chronic disease.
So this brings me to this question for novices, who do not understand these terms, that what exactly is chronobiology, and what exactly, you explained the concept of clock genes, but how did this term came up? What does this really mean?
Well, chrono means time. Okay, it's a Greek word chronos, and biology means cellular functions, or the physiological function of biology itself. So chronobiology means there are certain times associated when body is trying to do certain things. Just to give you an example, around 9 o'clock in the evening, 9 p.m., is the peak time when the brain secretes something called as melatonin, which is going to help you go to sleep. But around that time, 9 o'clock, you're busy watching a violent movie, or you're finishing some project from your school or work or anything, and then you're busy looking at Excel spreadsheet. Then those signals get distorted and the body is not able to do that function. And not only that function is affected, but there are several functions waiting in line to carry out other functions thereafter. So what you have done is you have thrown a wrench in the perfect functioning of the physiology by just a blatant violation that you don't want to do it something at that time. Other thing that commonly I mentioned in the book was the exposure to the blue light. What happens is that Mother Nature gives us the signal between the sunlight and the darkness. So when it's dark, the body slowly prepares itself for rest, unwind, and a very different type of physiological functions that are happening in the body, even when you're sleeping. But when you're watching television, you're looking at your iPad, Kindle, e-reader, cell phones, watching videos, then this blue light is falling on your retina and it mimics as if it's daylight. And the body still thinks, okay, it's still not night yet, and it will still kind of struggle to continue with what it is doing at that time. It will make you hungry. It will make you a little bit more active. It will make you more energetic. You probably want to stay awake past midnight, and that's when you will have the first wave that you will start falling asleep. And when you sleep late, you wake up late. And when you wake up late, you wake up feeling dull, heavy, groggy, toxic, and tired. And what happens is then you will need unwanted amount of caffeine to get going and power through the day. And every time you're exposed to these caffeine, then The digestion is affected, the elimination is affected, so many functions of energy levels are affected. So it's almost like a catch 22. You take one or two wrong steps in mismanaging your schedule, and the whole cascade starts following, disrupting. From an Ayurvedic perspective, diet, sleep, and exercise, these are the three pillars of health. And you want to make sure that you prioritize your health. Your health is your full-time job. You want to make sure that, yes, we want to be productive, we want to be doing the right things in order to really enjoy life, to be more functional, to be more productive. But you cannot really ignore what you're doing in terms of your body and physiological functions.
So, with what I understood, modern science seems to have discovered chronobiology and clock genes and figured out that there is a certain time for certain activities. And it makes me feel very happy that and excited a little bit that Ayurveda has been saying this for thousands of years. Like we have the Ayurvedic timetable. So, what is the unique, I would say, insight that Ayurveda brings into this scenario?
Well, the whole scenario is so precise. Think about it for a moment, okay? Means our little planet Earth is tumbling on its axis and moving at dizzying speed around Sun, circling around Sun. Is that right? And
Yeah.
there's a reason why this movement of planet Earth is creating 24-hour cycles of day and night. Because of those cycles of 24 hours of day and night, every plant, every cell, down to single cellular animal, is affected by these rhythms. And these are circadian rhythms, whether you like it or not, whether you are a lark or a night owl, or no matter what, everyone is affected. The birds know it. They leave the nest at dawn and come back at dusk. So the animals know it. So I think there's a universal understanding. And from Ayurveda or Vedic culture, they all worship sun. You talk about Gayatri mantra, you talk about sun salutation. Sun is a giver of health and life. Another important principle, as the movement of earth is happening, the seasons are created just because of that. The seasons are created. You talk about fall, winter, spring, summer, different foods, different situations, what is happening around you. The leaves are falling, the new things are coming out, there are tropical fruits and vegetables happening. So all of these diversity on Mother Nature is happening. It tries to give you the right food at the right time when it is needed. So you talk about your diet needs to be amended, your lifestyle needs to be amended, your doshic behavior and what your activities are doing. All of these things needs to be synced with what is happening outside your window. And I think Ayurveda is the only science that I know which has talked so elaborately about the seasonal routine, about the daily routine, about the nocturnal routine, even the celestial rhythms that we talk about. You talk about the planets and the influence of the planet, like we have a full moon today and a lunar eclipse and a super moon today. So it will have an impact on the tidal rhythms. So these are the tidal rhythms of the wave that is going up and down every 14 days in our body. So these rhythms are real. And what our job is to sync our lifestyle and what we are trying to do with those rhythms. So for all the ancient times, we always have followed a lunar calendar, isn't it? So many ancient cultures have followed a lunar calendar, which helps you guide that. So chronobiology, even though it's a new science, but it actually proves many of these facts. And actually, if I look at the ideal chronobiological timings that the scientists have come up with, it says that around 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning, your bowel movements are the colonic motility, which is a fancy term for that, is about 3 to 4 times more than any other time of the day. So when we say you wake up in the morning and you should have an effective, effortless bowel movement, that is exactly what the modern science is saying, that if you do the right thing at the right time, then it happens much more easily. The peak time when the body should be doing creative work and mental work and activity is somewhere between 9 to 12:30 itself, and that's what we call it as a pitta time of the day, when everything is open and you should be doing most of the activities around that time. After lunch is something where it says that you should be doing mundane activities, working on your project, sending emails, doing those kind of things, and that is more of a vata time. And around 5 o'clock or 5 or 5:30 in the evening, that is when they say is the peak time when you should be doing physical activities, movement, lifting weights, cardiovascular efficiency, all of those. So doing outdoor activities, sports, we know that that's when the vata time is ending, the kapha time is starting. So that is the junction point when it makes you active and build more muscles and things like that. And then 6 to 10 is the kapha time in the evening, and we know that around 9:30 you start secreting melatonin around that time, so it's preparing you for the sleep at that time. So if you take the dosha clock, what Ayurveda has been talking about for thousands of years, and you superimpose with the chronobiological findings, it seamlessly fits the timing of the diseases that when you get, the physiological functioning that are happening during the day and during the night. It is fascinating for someone like me to compare what Ayurveda has been talking for thousands of years and what the science is revalidating everything.
Great. So there is a set schedule in Ayurveda for every day divided in Vata, Pitta, Kapha hours. Then there is a set schedule for every season, and based on the season, a certain lifestyle, diet, etc., is recommended. But in all our conversation, I'm realizing that the key word or key phrase is right thing at the right time. So, what do I know what is right for me? How do I know what is right for me?
Well, again, what is right for you is something. Number one is the natural rhythms. Okay, you could be a vata type, you could be a pitta type, you could be a kapha type, but nothing of this body type gives you a license that you can sleep anytime and you can eat anytime. Is that right? So no matter what time you are, you have to be eating the right kind of food. And again, you will be choosing foods which are good for you at your body type. So same with the activities. So if the morning time of a vata time is or a vata person is, then they have to select what kind of activity they want to do in the morning, whether they want to go for a morning walk. A pitta person want to do some more vigorous physical activity in the morning. Kapha person would like to do even more vigorous activity in the morning, because you can change few things within those timing that you're supposed to do, or being even more careful around that time. Just to give you another example, like vata people have hard time falling asleep, and so they have to be extra careful about their evening routine, whether the temperature of the room is too cold, whether they are watching something which is stirring their emotions and they are having some nightmares, or they're not feeling good about something, or they just finished a call talking to someone which is making them anxious. So all of these things could be avoided. A pitta person typically fall asleep okay, but they may wake up in the middle of the night and they will start swirling and thinking about their work and planning and sending emails in their mind, things like that. So you want to make sure that you are eating the foods which are grounding enough. You should rinse your feet with cool water before you go to sleep, and the temperature of the room should not be very hot, which wakes you up in the middle of night. So you can make some variations as per your body type, but it doesn't mean that you have to completely shift or change everything. We are blessed or cursed with the 24-hour of cycle. We have to start the day in the morning, we have to end the day in the evening. The things that I laid out in the book are very, very simple. We should be consuming the calories from sunrise to sunset, ideally, from dawn to dusk. You should be having a 13-hour fast, ideally done eating by about 7 o'clock in the evening, and not eat anything till 8 or 8:30 in the morning. You're doing a 12, 13-hour fast, and when you're done with digesting food before you go to sleep, then what happens is your food is completely digested, you fall asleep okay, but you wake up easily and effortlessly without even the need of the alarm clock itself. So when we look at the current science of clock genes and chronobiology and the timings of everything, the timing of how you want to do exercise, and I see quite a few people even doing exercise, they come back home around 7:30, they take their gym bag and they are off to work out, and 9 o'clock they come home after a nice hot shower and they're completely open, charged up, and now it's their time, they're watching television, they're eating their bigger meal of the day. And when I talk to them, they say, Dr. Suhas, is exercising bad? And I said, I did not say that exercise is bad, but the time of the day at what time you're doing it is it's taking your sleep away from you, because now there's no melatonin secretion. You're wide awake at that time, and it's going to take at least 2, 3 hours before you feel sleepy again and you're going to fall asleep. So it's not what you eat, when you eat. It's not how much exercise you do, when you exercise. It's not how much sleep you get, but it's when you go to sleep and when you wake up. And so this timing of everything, and even Ayurveda has been the science which has been talking about uh, amending certain things, adjusting certain things, knowing some things about yourself, and making sure that you correct those things at your own level. So there's a principle of mindfulness, there's a principle of self-referral quality about knowing yourself and knowing your physiological functioning, and then respecting that and following those things. As we go through the phases in life, and we talk about, and I talked about it in the book called as seasons of life. So the first 20, 25 years is the kapha time of the day. So the body is growing and you want to make sure that you do a lot of physical activity, you eat clean, healthy food. So you create cells and tissues and build bones, muscles, and tissues, which are going to help you for the rest of your life. From 25 to 50, 55 is the pitta phase of life. So there's a lot of steadiness, warmth, heat, everything that is happening around that time. And 55 onwards, you are more or less in a vata phase of life. So you want to make sure that you want to slow down, you want to probably reorganize your schedule around it, you want to get good night's sleep properly, you should be eating the right food at the right time. And those junction points, those cusps when the body catches itself off guard, is one of the most common time that you develop chronic diseases. So these are all disruptions of schedule which create this. Whether you talk about andropause, whether you talk about menopause, it's changing time, isn't it? It's changing time which is catching you off guard. And when we talk about you keep on doing the same thing without adapting to those shifts, that's when the challenge happens. Is it
True.
making sense?
It's making
Is it?
absolute sense. It's very insightful, and this makes me want to come more to the meat and what ask you what is it exactly that you talk about in the book? Can you list out some of the topics or the contents of the book? What will I get after reading the book?
I think one of the things that was developing and happening was sleep is something that you do when you have nothing else to do. Okay, that was something. It's just a waste of time. It's you have nothing else to do. You are bored and you go to sleep. That's one thing that people thinking. But now we are realizing sleep is a miracle drug, and I cited so many things in there. And Ayurveda is I'm so fascinated with it. Okay, you look at the volumes and the scriptures of Ayurvedic medicine. They talk about these things about how everything is totally dependent upon the quality of the sleep that you get and how you prepare for yourself to go to sleep as a pillar of health. Sleep is the most potent anti-inflammatory activity you do. If I look at the current statistics, how many people are taking sleeping pill every day in this country? It is terrible. It's mind-boggling. And so insomnia is a massive, massive epidemic. And people not understanding how they should prepare themselves to go to sleep. And I think that was one thing. So sleep is a miracle drug. How to understand what kind of chronotype you are, understanding what preparations you need to do in order to help you get to sleep better. We often say the good day begins the night before.
Yeah, yeah.
And so you want to make sure that you're preparing yourself for that. Another important thing, what I said in the book, and it's a term which is getting very popular now called as social jet lag. Social jet lag is something where you are kind of behaving yourself Monday to Friday. You wake up 6 o'clock in the morning, show up for work, eat the clean foods, do the exercise, things like that. But come Friday, you have a license to do anything. Is that right? So you are eating late, you're sleeping late, you're binging on bad foods, you're drinking too much, and then Saturday morning you wake up way too late. And you wake up too late, you skip the breakfast, and it's time for brunch. So you are eating brunch instead of breakfast. And then since you ate brunch, you are again having a late dinner. Again, it's a Saturday night, so you are again indulging in bad foods and too many things. And then Sunday, you do the same thing, and then Friday, Saturday, Sunday, it throws all those functions out. Digestion, sleep, energy, everything is disrupted. And Monday morning, you have to go back and wake up at 6 o'clock. Saturday, you woke up at about 9:30, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock in the morning. Sunday, you did the same. And Monday, you have to wake up at 6 o'clock. It's as if that you took a cross-country flight and wake up in a different time zone of 3 hours. So every weekend, you are waking up in a different time zone. And 1 hour change, and this is science, 1 hour time zone takes one day to regulate certain functions. Okay, so if you are disrupting 2 3 hours, then it's going to take another 3 or 4 days to reset your bowel movement, your energy level, your digestion, all of those things. And by the time everything is reset, it's Friday one more time, and you do it all over again. And it's a massive epidemic in the country. You don't get even restaurant reservations on Friday, Saturday, Sunday evening. Everyone is eating out most of those days. And I don't think whether India or US or any country we talk about, it's more or less the same, especially millennials. And millennials are the one which are mostly affected, and they think that they are young and they can get away with it, but their physiology is something which is really getting a bigger hit. Their neurochemistry, their biochemistry, their erratic eating pattern, everything is affecting. People sometimes eat when they have time to eat without any even concept of understanding that the body is preparing yourself to eat at certain time. The digestive juices, the enzymes are flowing to create a sense of hunger. It's not when it's time to eat, but when you can eat food. And that connection, that mindfulness is kind of missing. So we talked about food, we talked about diet, we talked about exercise, we talked about social jet lag, we talked about what are the peak times and optimal times you should be doing certain things, and more importantly, how you should slowly reset some of these rhythms so that the body is not only embarking on a sense of prevention, but you're syncing yourself with the laws of nature. When you do that, you slowly become something which is in tune with nature. And couple of studies that I mentioned in the book was, if you go for camping and spend about a week or so without any artificial light out in the woods, then everything else starts falling in the right place. Just forest bathing, camping out without your cell phones or without any artificial light. You go to bed after evening and there's nothing else to do, and slowly you unwind and go to sleep at the right time. You wake up at dawn when the birds are really waking up, when the nature is waking up, and you reset everything just with few activities outdoor. So forest bathing is very popular, spending time outdoors in nature is very popular, doing the right thing for yourself and creating a perfect day, what is ideal for you, knowing, understanding who you are and what are the most important things that you should be doing in terms of regulating these things.
Very, very interesting concepts, and I think it's a must read for everyone today. I also think that among some of these topics that you've mentioned, a lot of this people already know, but they don't know how to implement it, and they don't know the Ayurvedic takeaways. And I think that will be the unique, unique standpoint and unique gift of this book to anybody who gets to read it. Do you have a physical copy of the book with yourself?
I think so. Can I have a copy of the book? Yes, I
Yeah.
will show you the copy. It's on Amazon. Go and get the copy of the book. Another interesting thing which I was telling you about was the first smartphone, what Apple created, came out in 2007. 2004, there was no Facebook. 2005, YouTube. 2006, Twitter. You talk about Instagram. 2009. So in 2002, only 13% people were using internet for telecommunication. In 2015, 97% people are using internet for telecommunication. So last 10, 15 years, the life has gotten completely off the grid now. It's becoming so difficult for us to even keep up with what is happening in life itself. And adults working who are using this technology, that's fine. But even tender nervous systems, young kids, adolescent kids, college going kids, teenagers, and millennials, they are the ones which are really affected. They are going through the roller coasters of feeling sad, mad, glad, depressed, unhappy without even knowing who is doing what to them.
Mm.
So definitely go and check this book out. Change your schedule, change your life. It's published by HarperCollins. It's a very respected publisher, and I'm so happy to be working with them. Dr. Deepak Chopra, who is a close friend, who wonderfully wrote a beautiful foreword for this book, understanding the premise of Ayurveda and what is the cutting edge science about. So Deepak was gracious to write a beautiful foreword and even talk about it in many of his live shows that are happening currently. even for his own book promotion right now. So I definitely want you to go and check it out. I simply tell you that if you change your schedule, I promise you it's going to change your life.
Thank you so much. With this, we would like to close today's conversation. But I would like to let everybody know if there are any questions, anything you want to ask Dr. Suhas, we'll be more than happy to extend your questions to him, and I'm sure he will be more than happy to answer them.
Absolutely, absolutely. I have a new website called drsuhas.com, and they can always go and look for more information, new research, new interviews, new videos that are uploaded up there. And we will be doing a lot of postings at Ayurveda Experience also, talking more about how people are responding to these schedules. I did some initial studies where we had hundreds and thousands of people who went through this program, and based upon that, it's a total sum of my clinical understanding and studying what the current science is with my Ayurvedic background. This is exactly what the product of this research is all about. Change your schedule, change your life.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Dr. Suhas. And with this, let me stop the podcast.
Thank you.